You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the March 4th meeting for the Michigan City Tree Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
It's 5:30, so I would like to call to order the March 4th meeting of the Michigan City Tree Board. If we can do roll call, please.
Sure. Jen Birchfield.
Present.
Manuel Murphy here. Denise Blau.
Present.
Dennis.
Here.
Betsy Elsesser.
Here.
Was I close enough?
Yes.
Lori. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Laura's no longer on the board. And Harshini is not here.
Excused.
Okay. And Nancy Moldenhauer.
Present.
Okay. Looking at the agenda, any questions, comments about the agenda? Or do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, the agenda from the March 4th meeting is approved. And the minutes for the February 4th, 2026 meeting. Everyone should have received those. Any comments or questions? Discussion around the February 4th minutes?
No.
I'll just have a thank you for Laura for taking the minutes in my absence.
Yeah, I just had a suggestion that in one section where it had the 12 and it's just one number behind it. The first time I went through, I couldn't figure out what it meant, and then I figured it was probably the date.
I see that
So
under,
you may want to put a 26 there, just so you know.
Under what section?
it is under old business.
Okay.
Yep, it should say 1215/25. 25.
525, right, 25.
Okay, so with that amendment, any other discussion, or do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I wasn't at the meeting, so I'm not going to
We
second.
have a second.
Thank you.
We have a
Denise.
second from Denise. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
I'll just note I have another copy of the agenda if anyone wants it who is here. I think I do. Anyone need a copy of the agenda? Okay.
Okay, so the minutes from the February 4th meeting are approved pending an adjustment of adding the year to a date that's listed in there. Okay, next up we have public comments. I do see that we have some members of the public here. Those are limited to 3 minutes, but we'd like to welcome you if you have any comments.
I'm mainly here to see what Wendy has to say.
Yeah, me too. I didn't expect you to say that.
All right, I feel popular.
You are the popular one tonight.
Great.
Okay, hearing no. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm a
Yes.
member of the public. I'm a resident of Elston Grove, Michigan
Oh, okay.
City, Indiana. My name is Janet, and the last name's hyphenated with T as in Tom, OYRA-Smith. My address is 408 East 8th Street. I'm on the north side of 8th Street. And I have requested many years now by coming to these meetings occasionally. I haven't come to every meeting, but there were in a long time a lot of people that came through as owners of or managers of the tree board or whatever.
Sure.
And they passed through and I talked to a bunch of them and they kept passing through and I never heard any results, and then new people came along and now it looks like you actually have an organized board.
We hope
So
so.
I've been here for many years, in the city and right here at this residence. And I have, a tree on public land that is on the east side of my driveway that has been dead for a number of years. Snowstorm took it half out. So it's a dead tree. I don't know what kind it is, but they're also on Franklin Street as a tree that was planted back in that time. And a lot of them got killed with a bad snowstorm or bad ice storm. But I'd like to have it replaced if possible, or something done that would make it look like a tree again. I have no shade at all on my house or near my driveway or anything, and it's pretty hot when you're on the north side and the sun is hitting it directly. I also have a hole on the other side of the same driveway that has never been filled in. They took out a large utility pole. This was so that the train could have a third line on it, the Nitke. And that particular hole has never been filled. And I would like a tree there if possible. I don't know if you could put a tree there, but there is a piece of a stump that's sitting there from years ago in this deep hole that Nitke threw stones in at one time, thinking it was from the pole. Yeah, I would like a tree on that side too. So it'd be nice to have one on either side of the driveway. Give us a little bit more shade on that period between the street, the sidewalk and the street. And this all happened when they started widening 8th Street, because I've lived there since, how long have I lived there? 30 years, 30-some years.
Probably so.
And I owned both houses, the Peelock House Bed and Breakfast on the corner, which was the bed and breakfast, is no longer, has not been, because I sold it 8 years ago or 10 years ago. It's just a private residence right now. And I'm next door in the Peelock Cottage, which is also a historic home. Mine's 1880, the Peelock House was 1866. They were recognized as historic homes years and years and years ago, and they're just homes right now. But
Well, Janet, thank you.
408,
Thank you for, yeah, I got a 408 East 8th.
408,
Thank
that's
you.
what I was gonna ask, I wanted to make sure I heard that.
Thank you for coming and raising these. And we're very happy that the city now has a page where you can put in requests to the forester.
I do not have a computer.
So guess what, I'll
Okay,
do it
that-
for you.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
You, no worries, so 408 East 8th.
And you are?
My name's Wendy Basher, I'm the Public Works Director, and so I'd be happy to put it in to the system for you, so you don't have
Wonderful.
to do that.
Great.
And we'll have the city forester come out and take a look at it, he's on vacation this week, but he'll be back next week.
Had so many of them come out and look and say, we're gonna take care of it, and that's the last
No
one
worries.
passed out of the city and someone else comes in.
We are making improvements, but I can promise you, I will do that and I can help follow.
Thank you, I'm not home all day long.
That's okay, you don't have to be.
You don't
You
have
take care of it.
is that list on the,
Yes,
that,
that's all
that
that
sign?
I need.
yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much for listening.
Yes, thank you very
course.
much for coming, and thank you. It sounds like Wendy, you're gonna follow
I got
up
it.
with that? Okay,
That's
wonderful. And yeah, Phil.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil will come out, he'll take a look and see what can be done.
I don't know how this escaped our community tree program when we were desperate for places to plant
Well,
trees.
Right, and but things pop up all the time, you know, so
Right.
we'll deal with it now.
Wonderful, thank you for coming. Seeing
Nobody
no.
knows all about it because I've.
Oh, okay.
I want you to
we've
understand
met
one
before
thing,
an event.
if a tree's removed, even if the stump is ground out, you can't put another tree there immediately. Because there's still roots underground.
I know there's roots under there, but it's been removed
Yeah.
for a long time.
I will also say it sounds like, did you say it was NICD you think that removed it?
They took out the smaller electrical pole
Okay.
in front of the yard, and they put in a much bigger one,
Okay,
and they left this little bit with a big hole
okay,
and in another stump somewhere, so it's just,
Okay.
there's nothing on either side of my
I gotcha.
driveway in that
so I
area.
hope we can help you out. My understanding is that is from the city side, at least the grant that we have right now to plant trees, it's a matter of whether or not it is on the public easement.
So.
But Phil will look into that. It
Yeah.
sounds like
And
some
I'll
of
let
them
the
are.
city engineer know about the other hole, so between the two of them, we'll see.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you very much, appreciate it, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you very
Thanks for your
much.
patience.
Pick the right
Yes.
meeting to come to, I guess.
Yes.
Thanks.
Have a nice evening. Okay, seeing
Never
no
seen
other
her
members of the
before.
public, I'd like to move on to Secretary Treasurer's report and claims.
I will send those out to the board as soon as I receive them. I did write to the comptroller on Friday and Monday, asking those to be run as usual, but I think other things must have come up. So as soon as I get those, I'll pass those on to everyone.
Wonderful.
Oh, and item B on there talks about the receipts. I did receive in the mail, I had put in my $37 and X odd cents on supplies for the tree tags from last year and this year, and so I got that
Good.
So anyone else that has, I'll just put in PSA, if you've got supplies, I submitted the minutes, the approved minutes that were signed, as well as my receipts, and that was taken care of.
Wonderful. Okay, moving on to communications. We have email from Arbor Day Foundation, which was forwarded by Mary Nell.
Yes, and I think, and because I was away last month, I sent on some other things that I received from the Arbor Day. I also wanted to mention, if I may at this time, from the Arbor Day Foundation, they sent a note saying that they were sending out our materials for this year. So I went up today to our postal slot, but they had not yet arrived. Which is usually like a pin from them and recognition and stuff like that. So, and I think every few years they send another flag. So I know we have at least a couple of these, but I'll see whatever they send, I will let you all know.
Wonderful, thank you. Committee, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I
Yes,
don't
go
know, I
ahead.
just remembered as well. So while I was in the mail slot box there, so I also got this, I'll send it on to you, but it's the updated Common Council that was in our mailbox of members. And then also this was stamped January 27th. Council committee assignments, and I read the minutes from last month when I wasn't here, so I'm just gonna mention that for the tree board, it does say that Nancy, you're a voting member.
No, we got it all straight.
Okay, so that's why I mentioned
That's
the
not-
January
that's-
27th.
That's not the newest one.
It's the only one in there.
Okay, and we did clarify that
Great.
at the February
Okay.
meeting. So I can see that it wouldn't be on there yet. But it has been clarified, it should be in the minutes that we had that discussion and agreed that we will propose a very slight change to the ordinance that designates the tree board voting membership, just to clarify and make it just very clear whether or not there was confusion, whether or not the city council liaison was a voting member. I will submit that request. I don't want to get too off topic here because we're going to talk about ordinances later. But I did have later on the agenda, I would like to chat with you all. I had emailed the entirety of the vegetation ordinances that pertain to the tree board. And I think we should all just do diligence and review those before we go. You know, if we're going to ask for changes, let's do it all at once. So,
Makes sense.
Yeah. okay, moving on then to committee reports, outreach and engagement. Let's see. Betsy, do you, oh, you're now the vice president.
Right, I can speak about a few things we're looking for Earth Day, but the first item I know nothing about.
Okay, we have potential partnership with Sustainability Commission and others. Workshop on pollinator gardening, May 9th, afternoon at Senior Center.
How did they contact
I
us?
do know about that because I asked for this to be put on.
Oh,
okay.
yes, that's, okay. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
asked for this.
Can you fill us in?
Yeah, this is an opportunity with the Sustainability Commission, the mayor's office has signed on. And we're just gathering all of the partners within Michigan city government that may be interested in something like this. But we are going to have probably an hour and a half or 2 hour workshop. And we're going to actually be able to purchase native plants and soil and containers. And Leslie has agreed to help us out with that as far as, picking out and picking up and whatever, but the mayor's gonna pay for those items. And we're gonna invite anybody and everybody that's a resident of Michigan City to attend this workshop. And they're gonna learn about native plants. And we're gonna have an experience for them that they're actually gonna plant a plant in a pot, which they'll be able to take with them to their home or their church or their school or business or wherever they would like to
Free of charge?
replant it. And then we're also going to have seed packets of the milkweed. So they can take those and plant them also. And also the mayor has a trailer that's called Beautification. and it has in it tools for gardening and whatever. And this is gonna be available for neighborhoods to invite it out to their area. And they can actually use the tools in there and, plant plants or whatever to beautify their area. So this is sort of like a really overall thing. I've seen a lot of these pieces, different places, and it's like we needed an event to bring it all together.
Oh, that's great.
Well, there normally is a native plant sale about this time every year at used to be at the
State-
national
Yeah.
at the state park, and now it's is it Friends of the Dunes?
Yes.
Yes, Friends of the Dunes, yeah.
Okay, so is that the same day?
I don't have any idea.
Well, it's normally about that time.
It's in the morning though, the plant sales in the morning.
That's great, and
You know when
there's a few native plant sales, which is great, that
Yeah.
go on
Yeah.
that time of year.
Or
Just great,
YouTube's up to date
the
on
Bird
that.
Fest, has one as
And
well.
share those
But that's super.
with Leslie and me so that we can, figure out
Yeah.
how to get.
Laura knows about all that.
Excellent.
Well, if it was the same day, that would probably restrict your audience a little bit.
We're hoping to get people there that are not usually doing this type of
Mhm.
activity.
Oh, I see.
We're spending
Right.
market rate on native plants.
So what are we asking the tree board to do or to contribute?
We're asking you to support us in this effort, to lend us your credibility, to, allow us to put your logo on our flyers and in our, announcements that we're doing in social media. So, because we know you love small plants in addition to the large plants. So
I myself
just seems a natural,
I myself would be in favor of that. I don't know that we need to vote on that. Are we just
Why
in favor
not,
of that?
since we're gonna have our logo,
Yeah,
so
it's another city, to sustainability.
I
Move
move that
second.
we have that we allow our logo to be used in support of the Sustainability Committee's native plant sale. And
It's not a plant sale, it's a native plant
Workshop.
planting workshop.
yes,
Thank you.
And I will say myself that I'll have to check my calendar, but if I am available that date, and I should be, if there's an opportunity for, a table or a representative of the tree board to be available with
Please,
materials. Okay.
Yes, absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
And we'll see by that time, we will have done our tree giveaway, but if we have any stragglers, that didn't get homes,
Yeah,
perhaps we could
be up for adoption.
take those as well.
Adopt a tree.
Okay.
okay, so I moved and Denise, you seconded, thanks.
Vote.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
And I should mention Kathy Sippel's gonna
Okay.
take part in this also.
Okay, wonderful.
And I'll put it on our Facebook page, once I see
Yeah, I'll
Michigan,
get your,
Super.
when we get
I'll
our
repost.
things set up, yeah.
Put out by Michigan City, correct?
Yes, yes.
Well, that would be something we could, that could be promoted at the Earth Day extravaganza.
It will be.
Moving on then to the Earth Day extravaganza and tree giveaway. That is on April 25th. The tree board will have a booth and of course our tree giveaway. I believe that the trees have been ordered by Betsy.
We'll have more than a booth, we'll have a large table with
Yes.
Several.
440 trees, baby
Okay.
trees.
Yeah.
And so I'm preparing handouts that will be how to plant the trees.
Thank you.
On the other side will be some basic information about the tree board and how to make a request from the arborist online. We will have some, since all the trees look alike at that point, we will have some information in color on what the tree would look like should it survive, and what its wildlife value is, etc. So looking forward to that. I'm also making a large sign that will act like a menu. So when people walk up to our table, they can, instead of a long drawn out conversation about, well, what do you have? What do you want? We'll have a list of trees available. And I'll ask the tree board members to start collecting your plastic grocery bags, because we'll give everybody the baby trees that with wet roots inside a plastic bag, so they won't dry out on the way home.
And I think I collected all, I gathered all the ones from last year that were left over, so I have a whole bunch in my garage. I guess,
Oh,
as
okay,
well. So
okay, well, I have another 50.
Starter pack.
I was gonna say, you're coming on the end of Girl Scout cookie season, so I might be depleted on plastic bags.
Don't worry about it, I think we'll do all right.
Last year, oh, go.
And that starts at noon.
Yes.
I guess we can talk next month about who's available for setting up, but we would benefit from additional volunteers other than who's just at the tree board.
Do we need any additional preparation work? I know that we have ordered tags and labels.
Yes, we will want to put those tags on the trees.
Yes, I strenuously, encourage anyone to grab your neighbors and friends and family and strangers and have them come in at 11 a.m.
Oh, okay, so the day of.
Yeah, so I'll fill out all.
We'll tag them that day.
Yeah, I'll write out the 440 tags.
Okay, would you like help with that?
I do it during TV.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But it helped enormously last year to have those tags
Yes.
before the event.
Okay.
And I'll put a Facebook request too, but anyone who knows volunteers.
And I'll provide the buckets again, because it's
Excellent.
easier to
Oh, yes.
line them up in buckets
That
rather
would be
than
great.
lay them on a table.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing that remains to be seen is picking when they will be available to pick up, and whether the red truck will be able to go down there and get them.
I'm sure it will.
Okay, I might be able to help you with that,
Oh, great. Thank you.
depending on what day that
Yeah.
is.
Okay. Wonderful. And then after that is the farmer's market and tree giveaway. I will say I had tasked myself with registering us with Farmed and Foraged. The last time that I checked on their website, they were not yet accepting applications.
Okay.
So I need to do that again, and I will check back periodically to see when they accept applications for the farmer's market. I believe that last year, we had previously been at the farmer's market once a month. I think last year we all kind of agreed maybe let's do it the first and last event of the year. Is that still our plan? It seemed a little overkill at a point to be at every one with
Right.
similar audience.
Right. The last one is usually October.
Yes.
Okay, because if we go with the community tree program this year in the fall, we'll be probably planting in October, and that might be a good time to
Mhm.
try to get some volunteers.
Well, I could see having us go a couple more times and maybe, so we'll be at the May one and then maybe, in June and then maybe even September, because that starts to be planting season and people have questions on planting. But, if people don't want to, that's fine.
That's a good point for September.
Yeah.
But sitting in the hot sun in July and August is
No.
not for
I
me.
didn't say July.
I know.
Okay, well, I will put in the request. Definitely for May. I also like the idea of September.
Okay.
Yes,
I think it's better than October.
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I would
For the
say
reasons
and
you said.
October,
Well, and October.
Oh, and October.
Yeah.
Okay.
please.
Okay.
Okay,
Are-
May, September, and October.
Okay.
If there are others who would like to do June, I will not likely be available to do that. It sounds like Betsy won't either. Should we?
No,
put in
just do
June?
May, just May, September.
May, September, and October.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's enough.
Okay, moving along to City Forester's report. This was emailed to the members. I apologize, it just came out today. Just our scheduling of when Phil does his report
Sure.
for the month,
After
the monthly
he meets
report,
with the.
and then we meet immediately.
Yeah.
But everyone should have received that report. So I won't read through it, except to say that some big updates. I'll talk about the self-guided tree tour later. I think we have that elsewhere on the agenda.
Excellent.
But exciting news that it looks as though an RFP is in progress for the bidding of the spring round of tree planting to be opened hopefully April 15th. And also that all of the stump grinding has now been completed.
Yeah, that's great.
So that's that, and I think without further ado, I think
Am I up?
Yes.
Okay. Not sure where you want me relative to your camera.
Wherever you're comfortable, he can move the camera.
Yeah, right there at the end.
Or you can have a seat here. Yeah.
Here. All right, let me just sit here and that way you can catch it. First of all, Wendy Basham, the Public Works Director. It's nice to see all of you again. I know it's been a little bit since I've seen you. Thanks for your patience. And of course, Phil isn't here, so I'm like, well, I'll go when you're not here and we'll tag team. And I just want to say, I'm so grateful for Phil. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to work with him, and it seems like things are going really well.
Did you hear about the award he got?
No, you got an
Yep.
award?
Yeah.
Someone nominated him.
Well, the tree board nominated Phil. The award was given by the Indiana Arborist Association, and they had one of their big conventions, late January.
Mm-hmm.
And he was awarded a plaque for his meritorious service
As an arborist, yes.
as an arborist. To the city of Michigan City, really. And I think most of us feel very strongly that we wouldn't have had all those additional tree plantings and et cetera through our grant if it weren't for Phil
Absolutely.
picking up where the last forester left off.
Oh, great. Well, that is wonderful. No, I mean, he's pretty humble, so he wouldn't say anything.
He was
I should've
surprised. I don't know
No, that's
why.
okay, but it'd be great to pass it along, make sure the Board of Works knows it. Maybe they could get a little recognition.
Well, we wanted to put his picture and the plaque on our Facebook page, but he
He didn't bring it.
So far has not sent them.
Yeah, I'll bet he dodges you on that one, but
Yeah,
we'll see.
yeah.
We can still honor him. That's great work. That's wonderful. No, of course he didn't say anything. He's very humble.
Let's catch him in his office sometime.
Yeah, well, he comes in to see me and we'll stun him. I'll get him if I can. But it is great to be here. 2025 was, I think, really pivotal. The tree survey has just been amazing. I mean, all of you are part of that, you know that. Getting the round of plantings done, which, again, the nursery folks were great. Phil is great. That got done. The watering contract, the tree removal went very well. Homer Tree Service really was able to step up and get that done in short order. It's great to know that the stump grinding is done. We get a lot of comments on that. And now that there's still the watering, because the watering is key, right? So we know that we can plant the trees, but if we don't keep them watered in those first 2 years, it's critical. That's on board now. And then there'll be another round of tree planting. So it's really good news. So that's all going well, and that's something that we were focused on, as you know. And then also focusing on how can we do better. And Jen knows this. I've been working with Phil to talk about the ordinance and what can we do to strengthen it. We've learned a lot about the ordinance. Obviously, it's incredibly well intended. I think it was written back in maybe 2019, 2020. And not sure, I'm new. The tree preservation ordinance, which is part of the landscaping ordinance, is kind of buried. And it'd be great to we're up for ideas, but maybe get it a little bit more prominent. We want it to be more prominent in the process. We've really been working with petitioners for the subdivision process and other people doing large developments and trying to get them on board early. Getting the survey done is key. You need to know what you're dealing with before you go to do land clearing or any kind of land improvement for what you're doing. So I think that's gone pretty well. We've had a lot of lessons learned and looking to make improvements in that and looking for your feedback on that. I've had several good conversations with Phil. He's given us his recommendations. Dr. Edwards, who was formerly on your board and is now our planning director, is also in the loop and we'll be picking that up. And you should hear more about that hopefully in the next month or so. We'd like to see where we can get with that before the building season gets really off and running this year. And I'm also here to listen. I know there's been a lot of comments and questions, and I thought I would open my ears and turn it over to you and have you ask questions, and I'll take notes, and if I don't have answers, I'll make sure I come to you.
Can I just ask a question for clarification?
Of course.
So, Mary Nell Murphy. So, Jen, you had sent out, a link to the city's tree ordinance.
Yes.
And I had thought that was going to be the proposed ordinance, but just to clarify
Oh,
that this is the existing from 2021. and-
Yes.
So nothing's been written out yet.
We have internally worked on comments on that, ideas on how to improve it. No, it has not.
And
I wouldn't do it without you. So we haven't passed anything new yet.
I can see where that was confusing because I did send an email just regarding, there are other ordinances in addition to the one that you were looking at.
Yeah.
So I did send an email, most specifically kind of encouraging tree board members to familiarize themselves with the sections that pertain to the tree board specifically, section 10232, 10233, 10234, 10235 all pertain directly to the organization of the tree board. So that's really a separate thing.
Yeah.
But I can see where that was confusing that came out as the same time.
Okay.
Jen,
and by
Laura had a comment.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm wondering how, what you and Phil are working on is different than 1702.
One of the things that we've been talking about is how do we maybe be a little bit broader in our tree protection? Here's the thing, because removal of a tree is a removal of a tree. All trees have some value. Obviously we have some species that we have more native value than others, right? But a tree is a tree. And it has value unless it's of course an invasive. And so right now the ordinance is very tree species specific. And we were thinking that we may actually be more effective if we're broader in just what are we impacting overall rather than being species specific. That was one thing.
I don't understand species specific thing, because maybe I didn't read enough of it. But what I read was protected trees are any hardwood tree at 8 inches diameter at breast height.
Right. And what we're
So
saying,
that's not species specific.
a protected tree is species specific. That's one of the things that's buried. So it's like, all trees are important, so we were trying to broaden it a little bit to get more tree protection, so that there could be more, when you do the tree inventory, you're accounting for more trees, not just specific oaks or what have you. And this is just an idea. This came from Phil. But it'll be up for discussion and we'll get it out there.
I'm curious, where is the specification of species in 1702?
I believe
Because I
that
didn't see it.
Right, so one of the things is the referral back from, because the ordinances are, you have the ordinance and then you have the backup to the ordinance, and that's one of the things that Phil was looking at, because you cross-reference that with, how you do that if you take one down, what is I'll say in lieu of, right? So that we're trying to clean it up, because it's a little confusing.
Yes.
And to be honest, and we want to make it better. Yes, sir. Did that help? Before I go there, did that help? We're not done yet, so you'll be able to hear more about it next month. And be able to give you
Okay,
more
I
details.
was just wondering where this species list is.
Do you have that, Jen?
I saw an old
I don't have
list
it, but I
that's
have.
very out of date.
It is, it's an old list that is just by reference, and that's another reason why we'd like to update it. And to just be more thoughtful about trees overall. So, if that helps, but I can take that comment and make sure we get back to you, and then in the new ordinance, we should be more specific.
Yeah, but Phil and I had an extensive discussion on this, and part of what we were looking at is where we plant the trees isn't necessarily where a native tree would survive, because it's right on the street, you've got the salt, you've got the heat,
Yes.
you've got the pollution, and so I think that's part of what is looking at this tree-specific kind of thing. Some species may be native, but they're not going to survive on the curb.
Correct, and then you have the idea of the protection, and this is Phil, I'm channeling Phil, for a minute here. The idea of protecting canopy. which is, as we know, a little different. It's one thing to have a street tree, right? Which is also important. We love that. They're decorative. They're good for the environment. But then you have the idea of canopy. And protecting canopy is different. It's more collective, right? So you're looking at more actually reforestation versus just street tree or individual tree planting. And all of it's important, but we want to actually strengthen that and make sure that we're very clear on what protecting canopy is. And one of the recommendations he has is, there is a fund for when you have tree impacts to pay into. And so he's making some recommendations. Those will be fun to float by all of you to how the fund should be named. But it would be great to have it be something positive like Canopy Restoration Fund or Tree Planting Restoration Fund or something of that nature. But I'll leave the naming to.
I think Phil likes canopy restoration.
He does. That's his vote, and so I'll let him carry that.
Is there such a fund in existence now?
Yes, it was set up in the ordinance, but I can't remember what it's called. But yes, there is a fund set up in the ordinance. Yes, sir.
This is a literary reference, but Ray Bradbury talks about a village where the streets are covered and the trees meet in the center. And so that's the concept of canopy.
Canopy, absolutely. Do you think Beverly Shores Kemmel Road?
Yeah.
I think that's my reference. A little different, but you're exactly right. And so it's wonderful, and it takes a long time to grow canopy, as we know.
So
it doesn't happen overnight. So.
I had a question. So I think a lot of this came up when people were very concerned about condo development that clear-cut trees from a wide area. And I want to say about 4 years ago, there was a large triangular lot just east of Friendship Gardens that
On
also
Martin
had.
Luther King Drive.
Yeah, 12 and Martin Luther King, right?
So it looks like everything I'm reading on here relates to public trees. So I'm the concern, and I think we've all heard. I know Nancy has, especially, but we've all heard from people like what happened and how can we prevent that?
Right.
And when contractors do that, what's the penalty? For that, and so I think we were looking for some teeth to keep our canopy.
Absolutely. So that's another thing that we've been talking about, and the interesting thing is over time is, and Nancy definitely knows this from sitting on council, our development code develops over time, literally, right? And so it's like, wow, we really need to do something. So like we plug in, say, hey, we need more tree protection. We've had a situation, we want to react to it. We don't want this to happen again. One of the things that we've been doing is looking at that overall and saying, well, we've got a little bit in the landscape code. There's things in the subdivision ordinance. There's things over here. Can we pull it together and make it more visible, cogent, so that it's clear and you don't have to look at 4 places in the code to understand? And this has come up many times, and it will continue to come up because we're developing here in Michigan City, and we're developing private property. And so we've been talking about with Phil and the building department, and Skylar, York, and redevelopment, a lot of folks like, okay, what's the easiest way to really kind of coalesce this code so that it's clear to everybody? And we have some recommendations on that as well to make it easier, so that the private sector and anybody on private property knows that this is actually part of site development. Right? And site improvement. And so there is site improvement permitting that is done as part of the building permit. And so we'd like to strengthen that to really talk more about land clearing, land disturbance, and having that be front and center in the development process. So we're actually working that even into site development as people come into the planning department and say, hey, I want to do X. We say, great, let's talk through it. We look at zoning, but then we also are starting to say, don't forget, we really need you to be thoughtful about your tree inventory. We're not saying that we have to do it, but Phil is willing, and that might be part of the new ordinance update to say, if you'd like to use our forester service, there's a small fee.
There's a small fee.
But you don't have to if you'd like to use a private company to do it and give those parameters. And that way, Phil can use that data and pull it in and keep that inventory building in the GIS, because that's the power of the data. Yeah. So that's one of the improvements we're making there. The subdivision process, again, when I say that, is I'm going to come in and let's say I'm going to build a subdivision, Tryon Meadow. Okay, on Tryon Road, or because that one's underway now, that you would do that on the front end. And because sometimes when you're building a whole new subdivision, you do have to do a lot of tree clearing to get in your roads and your utilities. But we want that impact analysis up front so that we understand, and then we have the mitigation, and that should go, the tree impact should be assessed and go into the bank so it can be reforested, recanopy, street trees, whatever is decided.
It seems as though there would also be a lot of overlap or integration with the stormwater program.
There is.
So it makes sense to me if you're looking at trees and they're other things, but they're stormwater infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Are there incentives that could be integrated into that process as well?
So that's what we're working with Al
Okay.
Wallace at the sanitary
Oh, great.
district.
Okay.
But as you know, in the stormwater ordinance regs kick in at an acre of disturbance.
Mhm.
So that's okay, but what if we have less? Doesn't mean there aren't valuable trees.
Yeah.
Or they're not part of a canopy, or maybe it's a phased project, right? So it's like, well, maybe it's less than an acre now, but it's gonna be 20, depending on how it's phased. So we're talking about with Al about how to incorporate that as well and make sure that we're kind of dovetailing all that
Oh, great.
so that it makes the most sense.
I'm sorry, who did you say you were working with? I missed the last one.
Al Wallace
Okay.
at the sanitary district.
Thank you. I
He
just
is our
didn't hear you.
sanitary district engineer. That's a new position that we've created, and he also still manages all of our stormwater.
I went out and actually visited the Tryon Meadows
Oh, good.
development there because I got a complaint from somebody at
Sure.
Ward 6. They said all the trees had been cut down.
Mm-hmm.
And I went out and looked, and they hadn't been. They kept a large segment of trees, to the side and to the back. The tree canopy was still there.
That's stormwater.
And then they kept the trees in the front of the property
Yes.
also. So there's a line of trees
There are.
that they left there.
Yes.
So I think that's a wonderful example of a developer really taking seriously, instead of just going in and clear cutting it, they looked at it, they took their, building design, they figured out where to place the building so they were able to keep the maximum amount of trees possible on that lot. And I'm hoping that, becomes like a best practice.
I would agree with you.
And hopefully worked with the city beforehand, so that it's approved before they cut down.
They've been great, honestly.
And not just them, but anyone, like they
Oh,
can't,
yes.
you know.
Agreed.
And if they don't do that, then what happens?
Well, and that's the whole thing of with anything, you want to be able to encourage folks, make it clear, here's what you need to do, and if you don't do what you need to do, then what's the consequence, right? And so working on that as well, but Tryon Meadow is a great example. And so, what's being protected over there is part of the wetland and the stormwater. So Al was involved in that. Al Wallace was involved in that early on to identify that. I think they did a great job of trying to preserve what they can. They also have a landscaping plan, so they will be coming back over time in landscaping per our requirements. And they did have to cut down trees. And we did do a mitigation assessment for that. And yes, they did pay $6,000 into the tree fund. So you have money in the tree fund for trees.
Was there some process like that with the Morse Road development there after the fact with mitigation?
That came on board. I had just come on board, so I've kind of taken a look at that. We work with Tony McCree, the developer of the Moore. One of the ways the trees were looked at there were really part of the stormwater, and so they've done 150% on their stormwater plan. So they went we had them go above and beyond because there were some surrounding concerns with the infrastructure there. So that was accounted for. I don't think there was any detailed mitigation done. It was more wrapped up in the stormwater. But that was another great example of, okay, so looking at that, how would we do it differently? What can we learn from that? And we applied that to Tryon Meadow and other projects that are coming on board. So it's been a good learning experience, and I really appreciate the developers, including Tony and others who have come on board to just voluntarily work with us and figure out how to make this better. Because you do have to do site clearing to get in utilities, right? So we're taking those lessons learned, and we're building the tree fund. So I think that's the awesome part, and we'll be able to present more of that to you as we look at the ordinance and get your thoughts on it.
Wonderful.
I'm
Lauren?
also curious about at the data center.
Mhm.
I understand there was some clear cutting before Phil had a chance to get up there to inventory it.
So we have had a meeting with the data center this week based on the assessment of the overall tree impacts associated with it's called phase one. which is what they have a building permit for and a stormwater permit, because they did go through all the stormwater permitting, looked at the trees then. NIPSCO needed an easement through there, so Phil went back out again, and so we have assessed now all 11 acres that have been impacted in one way or the other, and we're negotiating with them in terms of what that mitigation will look like, and so more on that. And so yes, there will be a mitigation payment for that as well for reforestation.
Okay, is there any additional fees that developers have to pay if they go ahead and cut trees before they have them looked at by the city?
Well, I think that moving forward, we're gonna wanna strengthen that part of the ordinance, because the ordinance, the requirements are in so many different sections. I think that some of it's been confusing, and that's not to make excuses, I'm just saying that that's what Phil and I discovered, it's like, part of the ordinance says, it's like, well, if you're gonna subdivide, but if you're not subdividing, when do you do this? So we think strengthening all of that and getting ahead of it will be helpful. And so even if there is tree cutting, we can still go back, and this is something Phil has done, we can do a stump analysis, we can also go back and look at canopy and assess. And so it's in the best interest of the developer to get ahead of it, and if not, we're going to assess it one way or the other. And so they still have to pay into the mitigation bank. So we're working on that.
So they still have to pay,
Yes,
but
yeah.
I'm wondering if they have to pay additional for having flouted the regulations.
Right.
first.
Yeah, good point.
Okay,
Destroyed evidence.
yeah, well, destroying evidence is a strong word, but I understand where you're coming from. And so I that's something that Phil and I have also been talking about. And so what we want to do is also take it upon ourselves to strengthen our ordinance and our clarity, so that as we do that, we can actually hold people more accountable if for some reason they don't follow all aspects of the ordinance. So more to follow on that. At least, but the mitigation is coming along and it's building the bank and we're learning, so I think it's good, but there's more work to do. It's a fair question.
I did just want to note that Ms. Shad, correct?
Yes.
I did just want to note that she's been faithfully coming to many of our meetings, and I believe primary interest is tree preservation,
Canopy restoration.
canopy restoration, and ordinances. So I just wanted to, are there any questions?
Thank you.
Yes.
It's past public comment, I won't be long, but, so I've looked at a lot of different, ordinances, in the course of Evanston, Illinois, revising their ordinance. And, so I don't know, I just want to encourage, I just feel like there's, and I am a resident in Michigan City, so, at 1110, at 3232 Minocqua Trail. But I just feel that there's so much development coming to Michigan City that development is gonna come and trees are gonna come down, and trees are just a cost of development.
Yep.
And so I just wanna be sure that we charge enough to have there be, real restoration and real, advancing the health and beauty and, welfare of people in Michigan City. So I had thought perhaps, looking at other ordinances about that, but I also just think, sometimes there's a fear that we're gonna scare off development. I think whenever there's an ordinance like this going in, and I just want to encourage, you that, I don't think you're gonna scare off development. I mean, development is gonna come. It's a very desirable, extension of the city of Chicago, so anyway, I'm just encouraging.
Yeah, no, I think it's great, I'm not concerned
Yeah.
about scaring anybody.
Yeah.
I think that the key is the balance, right? And
Right,
being
right.
able to have, looking at not only other ordinances, but I talked about this with Phil at length. What methodology do you apply? And so he has a lot of thoughts on that as well.
Right.
And so looking forward to that, and what makes the most sense in a balanced way to achieve all of the goals. And I think we can do that. The beauty is we have something. We have a variety of things. So we're not starting from nowhere. What we're doing is saying, hey, we've learned a lot, let's pull it all together and make it even better than it was before. So I think we went through the first hump, was putting things on the books. Now we can actually improve what's on the books. So I feel encouraged by that. We're not starting from nowhere.
And I want to acknowledge Leslie too, because of her work in Evanston. They were the ones that actually, with the National Wildlife Federation.
Oh, excuse me.
for the,
It's all right.
Native Species and Pollinator Gardens.
Yeah.
Could you share what you did
Well,
with
so
that
we
very,
were,
very briefly?
Evanston was the first city in Illinois to get the community wildlife certification. And as a result of that, I ended up being connected to, we do live down here also, so we ended up, sort of, I don't wanna be too proud, but helping, getting the ball rolling on that down in Northwest Indiana, where Kathy Sipple and Nancy have just been gangbusters on getting, counties and more communities to certify as community wildlife habitats. But and it's only a certification, you can say, but there's an intentionality to creating habitat.
Yeah.
And by the intentionality, you actually create better habitat, and that's actually been studied. So, good on all of us on Northwest
Yeah.
Indiana and Michigan City for taking this on, because Michigan City also is taking on a community wildlife habitat. So, good
How
job.
long ago did you update your tree ordinance and?
Now, let me see, it must have been about 2021 or something like
Okay,
that,
so it's recent.
relatively
So
recent.
that may be one to actually look at seriously. In Evanston, they're known as Green City of the Chicago.
Well, I don't know, I don't,
Of the Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
No, really. Honestly.
then you can.
And Steve Perkins will say that.
Right.
And he had a street named after him because of all of his environmental work. And he lives at Tran Farms now.
Got it.
And
So we have some really strong people here in Michigan City because of this exchange, I guess.
Cross-pollination.
The cross-pollination.
Yeah.
That's
To use the term.
Dennis has a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I just want to make a comment. I too have moved here from Evanston and I lived on Steve Street for 20 years. For 20 years and we never knew we were neighbors.
Oh, how funny. It's such a
That's
small
wild. I have
I think that Laura had a question.
Did
Or-
we were talking about developers and them, but I want to make sure that our ordinance has something about homeowners who capriciously destroy trees for either intentionally or unintentionally. I remember years ago in Oak Park that if a car ran into a tree of a certain size and caused its demise, that person had to pay for it. And I don't think it had to be 8 inches in diameter. That's larger than, we get approached all the time when we're at the farmer's market.
Yes.
Well, I got a tree I want to get rid of. Or sometimes on Nextdoor, I see people, amateur, tree removal artists, offering their services. People who don't have a license or people who don't have basic equipment, safety equipment. And I want to see the tree ordinance demand that anyone who takes down a tree should be licensed by the city of Michigan City, even if it's on private property.
I believe we have that.
Yes, if it's
But we-
over a certain
Just
size.
clarifying it.
But we can take.
Most people don't have any idea that a permit or a license is required.
That's something we talked about with Phil as well, so we're making some changes to the licensing to make it more clear. Because right now it says arborist license. We don't certify arborists
Yes.
in Michigan City. It's
We've-
actually more
we've-
tree care and removal.
We've
We're kind of
noted
working on
that.
the language.
Yeah.
Nancy will see that coming, that'll be part of that package, so that again, we can strengthen it. But it is required
And-
that you have a license to remove or trim trees in the city, but we can strengthen that, maybe the message can get out more.
We have
Then we
noted
also-
that ourselves, just to let you know,
Okay.
the language on the website, that it is misleading, and I think it's causing some confusion with companies of a certified arborist is a different thing than a tree care company certified with the city. And
Yes.
so we have some ideas to modify website language, and I've also noted it here in the Chapter 102 vegetation ordinances,
Right.
that as we review those,
Yeah.
that we can catch some of those references too, just
Yeah,
to
so-
make it crystal
Absolutely,
clear.
so we need to change the ordinance, then we can change the language.
Yeah.
Right now, everything on the website is just reflecting the ordinance.
Okay,
This is
yeah.
a great way to just clean it all up and be
Yeah,
clear.
yeah.
This has been Phil has already brought this up and we already have the draft language, and look forward to whatever else you'd like to add to that to contribute to it, because it is confusing.
Yeah.
Not intentionally, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
And so, we need to strengthen that and encourage folks. And then what happens when you're out doing professional work without a license? We're back to kind of some of that, accountability is what I'm gonna call it. And trying to keep more folks accountable. I can tell you, we do have the Forester Calls website, that, at eMichiganCity.com, it's being used a ton. People call in stuff
Good.
all the time, and we log it in through the street department system, which is, again, there's some geeky stuff, but it works really well.
Great.
Phil is on that, very much part of the street department is aware of it, so we've improved the communication. And I've had a lot of calls from folks saying, hey, I had somebody approach me and wants to cut down my trees, but I don't know if they're licensed, or folks that maybe hired somebody and gave them cash,
Mm-hmm.
and part of it got done and maybe part of it didn't. And so we want to also protect people,
Mm-hmm.
because,
Yep, I've
people are
been
trying to
bitten
do the
before.
right thing, and it's not, exactly, and it's not cheap.
And I think
Um,
part of being listed as a licensed service on the website, those people that are looking there, they're assured that those individuals are bonded and
Insured, right,
Yeah, so,
bonded and insured.
right.
So that's a safety thing
Yeah.
for the residents of our community also.
Absolutely. and protecting folks, they're trying to do the right thing, or they're like, I don't know, I'm just trying to get my
Yeah.
tree taken care of, I'm worried about my house. A guy showed up and said, hey, I can take care of it.
And if you don't know, how would you know? Yep.
You're right, so we want to be thoughtful about people who are trying to do the right thing. How do we help them as well? And I've gotten a lot of calls about that too, so taking that to heart.
Okay. Well, I myself would like to thank you guys for taking the time and the care.
Can I
It's big, let's get it right.
Yeah, amen.
Can I ask one more question about the ordinance?
Sure.
I'm sure this has already been covered, but not to my knowledge. What's on the website now defines the tree board in a certain way, and according to the current language, we're required to administer a plan and present it to the city council every 4 years, which is completely unrealistic that
Well,
this
I think that's-
board
that's a
would
tree
be.
Well, I think if I could clarify here, because this was sort of the intention of my email regarding looking over all of the ordinances that pertain to the tree board. If you'll recall, those of you who were on the board back a couple of years, must have been a year or two ago, when the previous board president and at the time city forester, both of them kind of took a swing at revising that ordinance, both acknowledging that it needed some
But never
clarification.
really did.
It never really did because there were conflicting views. What I would like to propose is that we all review that ordinance, and I can tell you all exactly which one it is. We all review that, and then working in collaboration this time
Yeah.
with the city forester, public works,
Absolutely.
the city legal, because I don't think we're at odds here. I think it's just a matter of clarifying what the tree board actually does, and getting all on the same page about that. I think it kind of got tabled because it became a little contentious.
Gotcha. Happy to commit to that.
But I don't think it needs to
okay, something that just jumps out at me is the word administer.
Mm-hmm.
We are
Advisory.
primarily an advisory council. We do a lot of education. We have promotional activities. We help communities and people plant some trees, but we're not administrators. And we,
That's fair.
as a group, shouldn't have to come up with a plan
Mhm.
every 4 years.
Yep, nor have we ever.
No,
So I think
Right.
that's
There
for
you
that
go.
reason alone, that's what Phil does.
Right,
and
that's what Phil
under
does.
right,
in
and that, I'm
communication
just
with
saying
us.
that reality should be reflected
Yes.
in the ordinance.
Absolutely.
I agree 100%.
And I think that we've got a good team now and the reflection of that, and I don't think we're gonna have any problem doing that. And look forward to, we need to clarify a whole lot of things.
Yes.
So this is one of them, and we're working on that across the board, and so yeah, let's do it now. I think we do it all in one shot.
Yep, I agree. Laura, did you have a final comment?
2 things.
Yeah.
I just want to say, I think it's great that you're gonna combine all these different things here and there in the Muni Code into something that's comprehensible.
Right.
I think that will help developers and just regular citizens a lot.
Us,
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say is, mitigation does not make up for what is lost.
Yeah.
If you lose a 50, 100-year-old tree, I don't care if you plant 20 saplings, it doesn't make up for that.
No.
And that should never be forgotten. I think the tree canopy restoration fund is great, but it's not evening the balances.
No, it takes a long time to grow a tree. We were talking about that too, and you're right, it can't always. So we got a good start, and one of the great things to, hopefully, as we also get more, I'm gonna use the word progressive, quotes, in trying to work with our developers to have more context-sensitive design to begin with. And I'm using that term because we've done that for years in highways and other things. How do we avoid impacts? You know what I mean? How do we preserve what we have? And the more that, we're fully staffed, hopefully we'll have more as we go along and be able to get ahead of this and work with people ahead of time.
And
Before they say,
incentivize
here's the
it.
plan, it's like, well, have you thought about this? And even if it's in cooperation and partnership, that's one of the things I liked about Tryon Meadow.
Yeah.
Is they're so willing to sit down, not just I own it, this is how it's gonna be, let's hash it.
Yeah.
More about, here's what we've got, what do you suggest? And that's what we need.
Yeah,
And we can do a lot of good if we can get ahead of it and work with people who wanna work with us, have better ordinances. And, these are carrots, and sometimes you need a little stick. Okay, so if you don't do the right thing, we all need to be held accountable. So I think we can do better with that as well, and I agree with you 100%. I love you.
And I
there's
would
one
like,
outline
That's me.
ordinance that I
Oh.
wanna bring up.
What you got?
It's one that was passed, it covers north of Highway 12 to Lake Michigan. And within it was a plan to
Somebody
encourage,
asking for political
instead of
contribution.
individual houses, actually plot out land and build the housing together.
Huh, okay.
And keep as many trees as possible that already existed on that piece of land. This
Here's
is
a reference.
this is when Craig Phillips was here
Okay.
as planner.
Okay.
And I do know for sure that probably Skylar York was working with him at
Okay.
that period of time.
Okay,
So Skylar should be aware of that.
sure.
But that was really good because they put in the diameters of the trees and, everything to take into consideration when the developer was planning to build
Right,
on those lots
right, okay.
between Highway 12 and Lake Michigan.
Got it, okay. Duly noted.
great.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
We'll look forward to continued updates as you progress with it.
Absolutely, and
Wonderful.
again,
Thank you
thank
for
you, I
coming.
really appreciate your patience. We are making progress.
Oh, yeah,
Absolutely.
I would rather see it done right and the time and thought taken.
I agree, but now is the time.
Now is the time.
Tree
Yes.
grant's good, things got
Yeah.
administered, we got good data, now we can make things better, so that's kind of cool.
Can I ask one question that's not related to the ordinance?
You can ask whatever you like.
Why isn't there a budget line in Michigan City for tree planting?
I don't know.
Maybe there was at one time and it was removed? I don't
think there
know.
was at one time,
Wonder where
but
it
I
was.
think it disappeared in the loss of foresters.
Or the change in administration.
But, well, an
Yeah.
ordinance, once it's on the books, should be an ordinance, maybe.
No, I'm not talking about an ordinance. I'm
Oh, okay.
talking about budget. My understanding is there is no budget line, correct me if I'm wrong. There is no budget line on an annual budget for tree planting.
There is none.
And,
Which watering would have to go with it would.
well, of course,
Right.
but there isn't any regular money set aside for tree planting. I mean, we're blessed with this big grant and one day soon it's gonna run out.
Yeah.
And then what do we do?
Sure. Well, and I think that's one of the, the canopy, I'm gonna start calling it the canopy restoration fund.
Yeah, that-
Because why not?
Yeah.
Right, is one source. Okay,
Yeah.
so at least
Yeah.
now we've got a dedicated fund. That's not in the general fund. That is a dedicated fund. So maybe expand.
Right, but that can go up and down over time.
No doubt about it. So, but to my knowledge, that is codified. But you have your
And
council right here.
your line items in your budget go up and down too.
Well,
Yes.
of course,
So there's no guarantee
but
that,
it would be good to have a line item in the budget, even if it's fluctuates.
Duly noted. Anybody? I'm happy to answer any other question. I mean, I'm here.
I will put in a request for that for 2027.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
Great.
Meanwhile, development will continue. I mean, I don't want to make light of that because it's hot. We are an exciting place. Pros and cons, right? Balance of the universe. But as we do even better job as we go forward and we have that accountability and grow that fund, at least we're showing that it matters and we're able to create money where we can do a match or whatever gets decided with it. But it's better to have something than not and then be able to make it better. So we look forward to more suggestions and moving forward.
I love the concept that it goes into a fund. We have the tree inventory. We have a list of plantable spaces. We know where we have gaps in the canopy.
Yeah.
So rather than a developer planting a tree and walking away and it's dead in a few
Planting a
years.
silver maple and
Right.
walking away.
I like this, that it can be strategic.
Exactly.
Mitigation
And
funds.
even on, this, as we look at the ordinance and, we're having folks do inventories, if those inventories are done on GIS, we can, even in private property, we can pull that into the tree inventory. It doesn't mean we control every aspect, but we're still using the data to show how is the canopy evolving? Because it's gonna take, some of the replacement will take place long after we're gone, to your point. But having that data live and being passed on so it doesn't get lost in a paper file or what happened to it, it's great. That's one of the positive things about the technology, and I get really geeked out about the inventory, but it's really neat and it's really powerful. And so let's build on it.
Well, if we can, and thank you again for your time.
Absolutely.
and
Happy to be here.
If we can move on to old business, because that does tie into the Mayor's Community Activation Grant.
Yes.
But briefly, under old business, item A, I believe this can be crossed now. I don't believe anyone attended this. There was a,
What's coming up?
oh, it's
Yeah,
311.
311.
Oh, it's 311.
I will not be going to Terre Haute.
I will not
I'll tell you
be.
that right
No.
now.
Okay, so everyone's aware of that. I don't know that
Unless they put
anyone
me in prison.
plans to attend. Got it. The Mayor's Community Activation Grant. I won't give a lengthy update on that, but I'm not sure if you're aware of this at all, Wendy, in particular in your conversations with
Was
Phil.
mentioned in the Phil's report.
It is listed in Phil's report, but the tree board received the mayor's community activation grant of $3,000, and we elected to use those funds to develop self-guided tree tours based on the inventory. And Phil also did some additional inventories at the 2 local middle schools. And so I will make sure that I send out a link to this. I believe I did to all of the tree board. But it's really cool. We're getting signs printed so that you can go out to the elementary school or one of these several parks and actually view and interact with the inventory. So very exciting.
A question on
Yes.
the promotion, like, we've got our 100 people on the Facebook site, but
Oh, yes.
can the city help out with, a press release on this? Because this is the kind of information that neighborhoods would love to hear about.
Yeah, that's a great
The
idea.
mayor's office, you can contact Kelly.
Yeah.
But I think that would be great, is the
Sure.
time to.
Absolutely.
Always looking for good ideas and communications and
Yeah.
What I can recommend is if you pull a draft together, it helps.
Sure.
It helps them.
Oh,
Yes.
sure.
It helps them immensely
Mhm.
Yes.
to pull it together.
And I'm a control freak with my
quickly.
press releases. So.
which is a great thing.
Very good.
Absolutely, and I'm also envisioning. I spoke with Shannon at Parks Department. She was very excited about the tool. We did one at Krieger Memorial Park, and so she was excited about. Hey, we have these other events. This is designated as a old growth forest or
Nice.
something or other. So she had some ideas about us kind of pushing those out together. I think we'll have it ready to launch and hopefully have those signs in by the time of the Earth Day extravaganza.
Oh, nice.
Which we did select some sites at Washington Park. They're not right by the senior center, but they're kind of as you enter the park there.
Oh, great.
So yeah, it'll be exciting to
Oh,
get this out.
So cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. So yeah. Any new business?
Well, back to the C on the Arbor Day.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
So
skipped
just-
C.
again, thank you to the mayor for doing the proclamation, and I think I saw that maybe you were gonna be reading that
Yes, and
at City
I
Council on April 21st.
yes, and I want to thank you for doing all the legwork for that.
Sure.
But yes, I will be going to
Excellent.
read that unless you would care to, since you took the lead on it.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
I will be by your side, giving more
Okay,
support.
wonderful. Because you did the work. But yes, I will be
We'll need to be sure that the president, Tracy Tillman, knows about that
okay.
and gets it on the agenda.
Yeah, and we had discussions previously, and I believe that Tracy said April would be the appropriate time, but I just need to follow up and
Okay,
make sure. I would also ask you, Nancy, I'm aware that boards generally at some point during the year give an update to the city council.
Every year
I
annually.
Don't know that we've done that regularly in the past.
No, I remember going with Dahlia, for their
Yes.
fund request,
Yeah.
but I don't remember giving an update.
Yeah.
So we could check in on that as well,
You can do it at
perhaps.
the same time.
Okay.
That would be good.
You have enough information here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, and honestly, I'm thinking we just did a report on the big Forest Service grant, and I think a lot of it I could provide that
Yes.
report and just summarize the highlights,
Yes.
the beans of
Yeah.
planted 500 tree.
Yeah.
This is what's
You got
done.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
And what's good is the Sustainability Commission is doing the first Tuesday, so you'll have the third Tuesday.
Okay,
So we have the presentation spread out then.
good.
okay, great.
Wendy doesn't like to have too many on the same meeting.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds great. Thank you for catching that. Moving on from old business. Any new business? I will just reiterate, I've already mentioned the ordinance under other topics, but hopefully all of the tree board can kind of just take a look at those ones that I bulletized as especially pertinent to the tree board. My plan then would be to kind of revisit some of the language in partnership with the city and the rest of the tree board, and then bring that back to a future meeting so that we're looking at kind of the whole package at once. Okay, comments from council liaisons.
I just want to really, I'm in awe by how much has been accomplished this year, just the last couple of months even, just so much. So kudos to all of you and your partnership with Phil and the QR code and all of those places already surveyed and with the links to the Morton Arboretum so that people can learn about the species of the trees, and I'm blown away, okay? Let me
Wonderful.
just say that.
Yeah,
I'm totally blown away.
it's exciting.
And it's these are exciting pieces that are gonna encourage residents' engagement with nature.
I hope so.
So, this is a big deal.
Oh, great.
It is.
I'll also mention that, just as an aside, thank you, Nancy, from all of us. As far as promotion, I think we will be able to get it on the city website, I'm sure, on our webpage. But I think this is great as well, and I'm already looking at additional small grant opportunities because we all know the NIPSCO Environmental Action Grant is coming up. So this didn't seem like as heavy a lift as I thought it would be.
Oh, good.
So, hey, let's do more. We've got the inventory,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Nancy.
Yeah, absolutely. And then too, the Unity Foundation has their
Oh, yeah.
small grants of I
I
think
have applied for that
I
in
think
the past.
$3,000 to $5,000 maybe.
Right,
I
and
think.
I have applied for that in the past and was unsuccessful.
Well, don't ever give up.
Yeah.
Don't.
We
ever
might
give
just
up.
get an idea they like. This might be.
And they're so about community engagement. That's what they're about. Is the Unity Foundation, and this is what that is.
Yeah.
And I keep telling them you're not giving out enough environmental grants. So
Okay.
they do one a year.
Keep telling them that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep telling them that. It's maybe one a year, and
Okay.
that's just not enough.
Okay, well, we can keep trying.
They have there is a Michigan City Tree Fund as part of the Unity Foundation, which I've contributed to. And when I contacted them and asked them if it was ever used, they couldn't give me any information. They just said that's a very small fund.
So
Obviously.
that means you can't apply for it and.
Oh, they told me how to apply,
Okay.
Which is very small.
but, well, I'll talk to you later about it.
Okay.
Okay, any comments from the board members?
Yeah, I think I'm required by law to mention birds at every meeting, so I'm just gonna,
Oh, I got something in my car.
so I'm gonna mention that the, I think 10th or 11th annual Indiana Audubon Dunes Bird Festival is May 13th through 17th. And we get people from 30 states and various countries, and it's a big turnout, and so good birding, everyone.
What was the dates again?
May 13th through the 17th.
And I have on in my car, volume 3 of the.
At the national park.
Volume 3 from Sage Dunes. It's the,
New guy.
the gardening thing they put.
Oh, yeah, I heard it was very
The
good.
theme this one is
Oh,
birds.
great.
It came hot off the press last week, and I have copies for everybody here
Wonderful.
of that publication. So I meant to grab them and bring them in, and I forgot, but I'll either go out and come in, or you can come to my car.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Thank
I'll be excited to see that.
Well, I have an announcement as well. Many of you are aware that Doug Ptolemy,
All
the
right.
patron saint of all native plants,
Yes.
is coming to the LaPorte Civic
Yes.
Auditorium on Saturday, March 28th, 10:30 to 12. It's free, but you do have to sign up register online. I have a QR code if you are interested. And I found out just today that his visit is the reason why we're not having a
Spring flower show.
LaPorte gardening,
Right.
LaPorte County gardening.
Master Gardens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you can't attend this, I would urge you to look at his many informative videos on YouTube, and probably almost as good.
Excellent.
Okay, any other comments from board members? Okay, hearing none, our next meeting is April 1st, which is April Fool's Day, so come with your
Right.
best pranks.
Which is also a National Sociopaths Holiday.
Oh, good. Can't wait.
That'll be
No, I
a great
mean-
meeting.
That's what April Fools is all about. Sociopaths.
Oh, okay. Next meeting, April 1st, 2026 at 5:30 right here at the IBEW building. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
And moved by Denise.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you all.
Give those to somebody.
Thank you so much.